It's filming, bruh.
Hey guys, Keedan here at Syndicate store. Got a new video for you today. So I'm going to be talking about the new District decks, the HT series. Right here in my hands I've got the Richard Zelinka. That's all we have at the moment, but I know we will be getting in a couple of more SIG decks, so stay tuned for them. But for now I'll just talk about the specs on this deck, which will compare to the other ones. There's just different lengths and different widths, but yeah, I can still talk about, everything else. So starting off with the weight, the Richard is 1.67 kilograms. So that's not too bad. That's pretty light for 5.2 wide deck. It's 21.2, yeah, 21.2 long. So 1.6 isn't too heavy. A lot of decks are coming that weight now just because, yeah, the sizes and everything. So yeah, like I said, the width is 5.12. That's on the very sides, but there is a little bit of a taper on the top and on the bottom. So the width does decrease a little bit. It actually measures up to be about 4.7, but I have stood on the deck and I do believe it does, like having the little bit of the taper there, it still feels kind of like a 5.1 deck because your feet do droop over the edge a little bit. So yeah, but on the bottom there's still, yeah, like that 4.7 50 space, so which isn't too bad. I've got that on mine at the moment because I'm running a 5.1 deck with Radix wheels, so it comes to about 4.7 wide and it's perfectly fine 50s. So yeah, length 21.2, so not too bad. It's a good medium. I know Richard, he does some really hectic park tricks, buttercups and all of that, so it's kind of a little bit shorter for those style of tricks, getting those whips around quicker. But 21.2, like it's longer than like an Apex or something like that. So yeah, I've kind of considered going to like a 21.75 myself, just because, yeah, the faster whips. And yeah, the foot space is 14.8 inches. So that's kind of like, you couldn't really get too much from that unless you've seen you can compare it to other decks on our online store, which have all the foot space specs. So you can do your own comparisons. That wouldn't mean much to you, without comparing it to the other decks. But that's not too bad. As you can see, the head tube does come in a little bit. So because of these little like extension bits, so there's a little bit of foot room lost there, but that's for strength. But it's pretty good. It's not too bad. Like I know some decks, like flavor decks, they come back a fair bit. So sorry, I just got pigeons in the roof. Yeah, like flavor decks come back a little bit more. So and some other decks would as well. So not too bad. Next is 5.0 space. So the 5.0 space from where a 24mm wheel would sit to the edge is 43 millimeters. So again, that might not mean too much to you, but in comparison, like a Paramount is about 37 millimeters, and Isaac Miller is doing crazy 5.0 tricks on his Paramount, so like front 5.0 hard 180s down hubbers and stuff. It's a little bit bigger than the Tyler Bradley SIG Phoenix deck as well, which is about 40, so this is 43. But it's not as big as like say a Jabba, which is it's only 4.8, but it's completely square all the way to the back, so it's a little bit smaller than that, and the other completely square decks as well. So not bad though, as you can see, pretty good compared to a lot of the other decks. The crook space is 35 millimeters. So crook space is kind of just like in between the welds for the most part. It's get that little groove for you to like lock into on coping and stuff. Yeah, 35 millimeters. It looks, from what I can see, it's pretty decent. The welds stick out a little bit, so you get a decent little groove there. Head tube angle is 83 degrees. So 83, it's kind of the steeper angle you'll see on most decks. So 83 is kind of better for nose manis. You can lean forward that little bit more. I couldn't say too much more. I know like your bars would be that little bit more forward, you might not hit your knees on the bars as easily. I definitely like the more steeper head tube angles, so I know some decks are coming like 84 now and 83.5, but 83 is it's still on the steeper side. Other decks like 82.5 and 82, most of them anyway, so yeah. The head tube manufacturing process, so that's how the head tube is constructed basically, is that it is extruded and welded together. So these bits here are extruded, and yeah, there's a weld here. It's not forged, but yeah, still looks pretty strong. Yeah. Wheel compatibility is it fits up to 125mm wheels, so that's the biggest size wheel that's on the market. So you can run basically any wheel other than 12mm standard. It also comes compatible for 30mm wide wheels. It doesn't come with the spacers, but if you can work your own spacers out, you'll be able to run like Radix wheels with it, which is sick. I'm running Radix right now, I'm loving them. So much better for manuals and fakies. You've got a lot more stability, not as much leaning like that. You can kind of sit flat, which is sick. Yeah, and so that's basically it for the Richard deck. Yeah, like I said, there's other Sig deck models that are different in size, but they'd be comparable in terms of like the the head tube's the same. There's just different widths and lengths, which would make the weight a little bit different as well. But yeah, not too much. I think they're kind of similar. It's got the classic district brake, that like fender that's just slotted in. It's pretty loose, but yeah, comes with these like back plugs for so the deck doesn't cave in at the back. It's got plastic here and here, and then it's got here and here, and it's got metal on the edges as well for the nut to sit in, so it doesn't like strip on the plastic or anything, which is sick. Yeah, comes with the graphic on the bottom. This is a really sick graphic. I'm actually a huge fan of this one. It's just interesting. I don't know too much about it, but I know that yeah, it's pretty cool. Comes with the classic like little grind rails, so you're not going to grind the whole graphic away basically. I'm not the biggest fan of the grind rails because I'm riding a native, which is flat bottom, and I'm loving that, but I know this does the job. On the edges, it's got a bit of flat room there, and then it's got the two grind rails down the middle, so yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, that's basically all I can tell you about the deck. Overall, it's pretty good. District, they got that reliable sense to District, where I know people running the District V3s, which had a very similar head tube, not as developed as this one, and they lasted for ages. So yeah, I put a lot of trust in this, I'd say. Yeah, so stay tuned for when we get the other District decks in. We'll announce that on Instagram and whatever. Like it'll be on an online store too when we do get them in. But for now, we got the Richard, which is yeah a pretty good size. It's a good medium park, street, whatever you want to do. He does both on it, and he shreds both on it. So yeah, it's really sick. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Keedan Mitchell, Syndicate, syndicatestore.com.au on Instagram. We've got Facebook as well. Yeah, so follow us, subscribe, comment, and you can like if you like it. If you don't like it, then you don't have to like it, but you also don't have to dislike it. Yeah, so I'll see you next time.